As a relationship coach, what are some common stumbling blocks to us having happier, more positive, and connected relationships?
Fear, communication, and expectations. What I see with most of my clients is that we all suffer of fear of rejection or abandonment, which impacts the way that we show up with our partners.
Mm.
Second of all, we are not really educated on how to communicate our needs, how to identify our needs so that we can put it out there and tell our partner what is really wrong, what is really bothering us in this moment. And then, of course, the expectation that if you love me, you should know this about me. This whole idea that
Yeah.
somehow a loving connection, a romantic connection means the other person is able to read our mind and just respond to all of the stuff that we never actually said out loud. So what I
Mm.
see very often with clients is that their arguments, their conflicts very much focus on a surface level problem. For
Mm.
example, if someone says, okay, I'm going to come home for dinner at 6 o'clock, and that partner for some reason gets delayed because, life takes over, work
Life.
and priorities, and they don't make it. And sometimes they don't even have the time to text their partner to say, hey, I'm not going to make it. And then
Mhm.
when they eventually make it home, there is this big blow up, this big fight that supposedly is about not coming home on time for dinner or not texting the partner. But maybe at some point after 2 hours of shouting at each other, because this is not the first time this has happened, clearly, the person who is upset for maybe having put the effort into making dinner, into preparing everything on time, says, do you know what the real problem is? I never feel that my effort is respected. I don't feel appreciated in this relationship. I don't feel like my effort matters to you. You don't even care about me.
The
So
real,
when
the
this
real
is the
root of the
real
problem.
issue.
Okay. Yes.
Exactly. So if we were able to really understand these needs, the need to feel
Mm.
appreciated, then we would be able to sit our partner down, not when we are in war mode, not
Hmm.
when we're about to strangle them because we've accumulated all the different stories, all the other reasons why we feel resentful, what Esther Perel calls kitchen sinking, bringing in the kitchen sink, like, that time that you didn't do this, that time that you
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
do this, everything comes in together in that argument. But if we were educated to say, hey, you know what, you have to dig a few levels deeper. Sure, he or she didn't come home for dinner at the time that they committed, which actually is a sign of maybe a need for reliability, to know that if my partner promises something, I can count on them.
Mm.
And it's not about the food, even though probably if someone put a couple of hours into making a nice dinner, maybe a surprise dessert or something like that, that can only be eaten at a certain time, and it doesn't taste good when it's cold and it's been left in the fridge for a while. There is, of course,
Mm.
the frustration of that time and energy that has gone into lovingly putting together a nice meal. But really, the deep issue here, and the reason why this hypothetical couple might have this
Mm.
conflict over and over again, is because they never really discuss the real problem, and they never really identify a solution around that problem. They might agree,
Mm.
like, okay, next time, fine. If you really insist, next time I'll just send you a text message. But that does not change the fact that the person who has done all the work still feels underappreciated or disrespected. So
Mm.
to me, the lack of effective communication is also connected to the way that we show up out of fear as opposed to out of love. To say, okay, if I don't want to tell you that I feel disrespected because I'm afraid that you will reject me, I'm going to be sitting here simmering and constantly bringing this up in my own mind, and also having this expectation that you might somehow eventually, if I give you the cold shoulder enough, you might figure out what is really wrong with me.
Mm. And people can use your expertise and your guidance in this area before it blows up, right? People can come to see you and say, I feel a little bit stressed or frustrated or, stuck in my relationship. Can you help me figure out where I have these needs that are not met so that I can then further communicate with my partner instead of just putting it all on their partner, right? So they can see you with their partner, they can see you without their partner, or they can see you separately. Is that correct?
100%, yes. And I would
Mm.
encourage people who in happy relationships who think we're doing well to consider what I call a relationship MOT. You know, you need to check your
Yes.
relationship, kick the tires every now and then, just to see where are those the cracks in the
Hmm.
wallpaper. Because if you're not proactively discussing these things, you're going to be
Mm.
taken aback by the force of an argument where a lot of things may be said that you don't actually mean, but in anger, we intentionally or unintentionally end up hurting our loved ones because we feel hurt and we just want to put that pain on them. So I would encourage people to consider relationship coaching like they consider a fitness coach. You don't
Hmm.
wait until your body is falling apart to go and work out in the gym, right? So your relationship is a bit like that. Requires attention and intention. So to say every now and then, what I do with my regular clients, by the way, is I see them once a year just for a catch up. uh,
Hmm.
at their, I'm not forcing them, obviously. At their suggestion, they reach
Hmm.
out to say, hey, we've been doing well, we've learned some of our lessons, our relationship is on track, but we feel that there's still little niggles here and there that we would like to discuss and put everything on the table. And that's a
Mm.
wonderful way, I think, of making sure that you're still growing together. I always say to my clients that if you're not growing together, you grow apart.
Mm.
So taking the effort to maybe spend 1 hour every 6 months or every 12 months, really considering what could you do better. It's not that your relationship is bad or that you're doing something bad with each other or to each other, but
Hmm.
just figuring out, hey, maybe things have changed for you. Maybe the agreements that we made last time we went to see our coach have held very well, but also maybe there's an opportunity for us to make new agreements because we change every day, right? So I would encourage my clients, and I do encourage my clients to occasionally sit down with each other. They don't actually need to come to coaching. What I
Mm.
do is I teach my clients tools and strategies that allows them to coach each other in a
Okay.
way. You can be each other's accountability partner, you can support each other, you can guide each other in difficult times. So they already have tools to be better teammates, so to speak, and better life
Mm.
partners. But
Mm.
if things change dramatically, for example, if something dramatic happens, like recently a client of mine who got married a year ago gave birth to a child with disabilities. And
Mm.
of course, this is a big blow when it's your first child and you have dreamt about a wonderful life together with your partner and your new addition to your family. And then you realize that this child is going to bring a lot of challenges to your life. So that is a good moment to sit down and say, okay, things have changed dramatically in our life. And even children without disabilities actually create this shift in a relationship. So now is a good time for us to think, how are we going to manage ourselves, our relationship as lovers? Because now we've changed from that framework or the structure of our life, which was the lovers bubble. And now we're also migrating towards what I call the parents bubble.
Mm.
And
Mm.
this is where a lot of relationships end up suffering because there are new fears coming onto the stage, so to speak. The communication now is going to be very much influenced of this external thing that has appeared in your life. And then, of course, your expectations are changing about each other. I expect you
Mm.
to share the burden of childcare in maybe an equal manner, or one partner might say, oh, I'm the provider, you're the carer, you do deal with the kids, I do the money part. But that may not be what the other partner expects, right? If especially if it's a question of a multicultural couple
Mhm.
where
Mhm.
different expectations have been built into their own programming. So there are a lot of challenges, especially around big events in our life. So I would encourage
Mm.
people who are going, who got pregnant, for example, and they're about to embark on this journey of parenthood, to really consider, how are we going to do this together? or people who are about to get married and their status will change and all of that, I think it's also something that we need to consider when we face such challenges.
And if people want to get in touch with you and find out more, find out how you can help them, how do they connect with you?
Best way to find me is on Instagram
Hmm.
or visiting happyeverafter.asia.
Great. And I'll put all that information down below. Thank you so much.